selves. Welcome back to Evolve Flow Express. On this episode, I will be talking about setting boundaries and energy management, pretty much where you would place your energy. Again, my name is Kitora. I will be your host, as always. And I have no guests with me, so this will be a solo episode. And I hope you guys enjoy. So, I want to talk about, I guess, a few experiences that I've had. I've had new friends come along. I've had older friends that I had to let go. Um, and through the process, I would definitely say that learning how not to people please, learning that, okay, this is too exhausting. This is like too much for me to handle. And I don't have the capacity for it. That is something that comes with experience. Um, so I don't know. I guess I did have one friendship and thought she was a really good friend. She was really sweet at first. And this is during the time like I didn't have a job. Like I was fired, so I was doing different little small gigs to like get money, make sure I could pay my bills because the bills don't stop. And yeah, she kind of seemed like she was taking that into consideration. And moving along, I felt like the consideration of what I was going through was no longer in the books. There were parties coming up, there were different things that she wanted to do, and I was told consistently, like, oh, you got to get your ticket for this, or you got to do this, like, we're going to be doing this, so you got to make sure you have your money. And I'm like, I just told you I don't have a job. Like, I'm looking for work right now. My main focus is to make sure that I am making money, to make sure that I have a roof over my head, and all the different bills that I have. I still have credit cards. I still have, a car note. I had different things I still had to take care of. And I made it work. But to make it where I'm working extra and doing extra stuff just to go to a party was not in my books. So after a while, I had to realize that that wasn't a friendship that I wanted to nurture, based on the fact that it was more so based on uh, parties and just going out and having fun, no true responsibility, accountability for things. Um, when we were at a point of odds, really, I just kind of quietly distanced myself. I didn't really make it a loud thing of like, you're always asking me to have money for this or inviting me out to different things that I can't afford. It was just more so, I understand that I can't do these things. And I've already had conversations with you in a calm manner to let you know what's going on in my life. And from that, you can't take consideration because you haven't really considered what's going on in your life opposed to what you are looking to do outside of your means. So, understanding that somebody already operates that way was enough for me to say, okay, well, it's probably best for me to just quietly distance myself rather than just abruptly and harshly and aggressively cut the friendship. However, I did kind of feel like, man, I really don't want to cut a friend that I just typically kind of just made. But at the same time, it was like, well, you don't always have to just like instantly be like, oh, we're best of friends and we're going to be friends forever. And I think also one thing that helped me accept that even more was the fact that I had a 13-year friendship that was coming to an end. It was at that point of coming to an end. And that friendship being so long coming to an end helped me realize that it's not necessarily about how much time you've spent with a person, it's about the quality of the time. Is the quality up to par with what you need and what they need? If you're not really kind of, I guess, not necessarily matching each other's energy, but if you're not really necessarily beneficial to each other in any way, be it support, be it, just being a listener and, but they also allow you to speak your part and give advice if necessary. Those different things, it's not really something that you probably need to hang on to. And you can have different levels of friendships. You don't have to necessarily be the best of friends with every one of your friends, but you do need to nurture friendships if you want to continue them. And both sides need to do that. It shouldn't be a one party thing. So that's something of experience I've had for, I would say, that happened at least within the last 8 months. I processed those different things. Um, of course, there was like three different hardships I would say that I went through, of like relationships, friendships, having to cut off people, different things like that. I didn't expect it. So I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with this person forever. We've been friends for this long, da 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 da. But I didn't realize that we called each other best friends, and I think our definitions of what a best friend should be, what a best friend should provide as well, it was like, okay, that it doesn't match, and it shows in our actions that it doesn't match. I'm doing for you what I think that a best friend should do, and you're doing for me what you think a best friend should do as well. So neither one of us are technically wrong. However, we're not aligned. So um, it can also help you in a sense, I guess, when it comes to like energy management, when you are understanding your capacity for things, your own moral compass, where you stand in certain arenas, groups of friendships, um, if you actually even fit in with them, like do you have a placement in that friendship group, or do they always make you out to be the person to pay? Do they always make you out to be the person to pick the place? It depends on different things like that. And do you have the capacity for that? Is that something that you want to do? And if not, don't put your energy where it's going to be exhausted. So you got to make sure that you're like setting those boundaries. Setting them early is something that I learned more recently. And it's kind of crazy because you think, like, oh, these are the things that you learn in elementary school, in middle school. No, these are things that sometimes people learn when they're in their adulthood, because that's where you have your real true friendship growths and different things like that. If they're really, really true friends, they'll stick through it with you for a long time. But you don't always keep the friends that you have from your adolescent age, or from when you're, 6, 7. Those ages, like you're in your primary school ages, you don't really always keep those friends. So, when you're in your adulthood, you kind of understand certain things, certain boundaries, certain principles. And not everybody follows principles the same way. They don't follow even the same principles. So it's a lot, I guess, a lot of aspects that you can kind of get into when it comes to setting boundaries and figuring out where your energy should go, um, and figuring out how much energy you should put into something as well. So, like, when it comes to like friendships, relationships, like romantic relationships, when it comes to even family relationships, you can decide that on your own, but you also need to understand the consequences that come with it. Everything has a consequence. It could be a good consequence, it could be a bad consequence. Um, However, you need to understand that before you make a decision. So, understanding how it's going to affect someone, or how it's going to affect you as well. So, if they say you don't really want to hang out with them as much anymore because you feel like you could spend your time better elsewhere, and they start acting different. Maybe they don't invite you out as much anymore. Does that affect you? Does that make you feel left out? Does it make you feel like they don't care? Because if it does, then maybe you need to reassess your decision, or maybe you need to um, kind of be more introspective about your decision prior to letting it be expressed to your friend group, or the people that you feel like you want to take some space away from. And that can come even into a job. You might have coworkers that you feel you are close with. They might not be necessarily your real friends, but they could be somebody that you're really cool with, you're really close with, you don't mind talking to here and there. But maybe they might say something that you feel like you don't really like, and it makes you not really want to hang out with them anymore. So now you have to make the decision on how you move about that. Do you actually not want to hang out with them anymore? Or do you want to address what they said and let them know that this made you feel this way? And are you ready for their answer or their response when you address it? Because a lot of times we could be thinking that people are going to just accept how we feel about things. And I spoke about this with my brother in my previous episode as well. Like, well, he more so spoke on it. But, you know, a lot of times people are thinking that they can just go and tell you, this is my standards, this is my boundaries, this is what I want, this is what I prefer. And there's not going to be any response or, you know, any rebuttal. You're speaking to a human being. We're all human beings. We all have feelings. We all have a thought process on, you know, how things might go or how it should look. So when you know that and you acknowledge that, you take that in prior to expressing something to someone, you'll understand that it's a conversation. It's also a give and take. They might not even want to respond via words. They might respond via actions immediately. You might not like it. You might literally just be like, you know, I really don't like that. Like, they just stopped talking to me. They just walked away. But you have to understand that the same way you can make a decision about your boundaries, what you're willing to accept, and the energy you're willing to accept, they can do the same. It's not a mannequin or, you know, a robot that you're speaking to. It's not anything like that. So, and it's not a wall. It's not a door. It's not anything that doesn't have its own decision of making, you know, I guess doing an action or doing anything like that. You can make a decision off of something somebody says, somebody does, and they can do the same. They can do the same. So taking that into account when you do things helps out a lot. It really can um help you make a better, more well-rounded decision, I feel like. You know, and as my dad always says, and I love the statement, you have to go within to deal without. So, when you are looking at things outside of yourself, even sometimes you can still go within yourself and do comparisons. You can also go within yourself and ask, well, how would that affect me? How would that affect me? Do I like the way that makes me feel? Or would I like the way that makes me feel? Has somebody done that to me before? And, you know, if someone came to me and said the same thing I just turned around and said to this person, would I agree with it? Would I just take it and be like, okay, I'm going to just eat it up? Or would I have a rebuttal? Or would I have a moment of reflection and say, you know what? I really don't like that. And immediately react in action. Or I could be, you know, reactive with my words and be impulsive. How would I react? So a lot of times I think that is one of the best things that you can do. Be a little bit more reflective, rather than just being aware that somebody hurt your feelings and somebody said something that you didn't like. Have a more understanding mindset when it comes to certain things, because we're all human beings. We all have our own experiences. We all have different things that, I guess how people say it nowadays, that trigger us. So we have to take that into perspective when we are speaking and interacting with other human beings. And we have to actually acknowledge that they might have a whole different outlook on the situation. So going back to, you know, how you set your boundaries and how you decide where you put your energy. It could be better for you and for the other person, the other parties, for you to just take a moment to, like, you know what? Let me think on this. Let me think on this before I just blurt it out and say this, and then later on I'm regretting my decision, or I want to go back and take it back. You can't take back words. So it's better to reflect, self reflect, and then maybe go ahead and express yourself. So, yeah. I kind of really want to go more so into energy management. I feel like people think that energy management a lot of times only goes into setting boundaries, and it goes a lot into also yourself um, and the quality of your time. How you really spend your time, even with yourself, can determine your output and different things like that when you're with others. A lot of times we're thinking that we are upset or just overwhelmed by other people and their requests for things, or they're exhausting, but you probably haven't really done much for yourself in your own time. You probably might get some rest. Yeah, rest is essential. I feel like rest is essential. So you probably got some rest for yourself, probably took a nice bath. Yes. But have you done any journaling? Have you started on any projects that you wanted to do? Or are you doing things that other people want to do? And when I realized for me that was what I was doing, I was doing things for other people. I was starting stuff for other people, helping people with their businesses, helping people with their ideas. And I never started mine. Mine was still sitting in a book or half written um, in a quick journal note. It might have been just in a note in my phone, or I might have said it quickly to someone else. Oh, I think I want to try this. I might want to do this. And not until I started actually creating business plans, I got a whole layout for my podcast. I started looking at expenses and actually having to pay for things. I'm not getting, a monetary return on anything as of yet. I'm just starting out. So to continue to do that, it made me feel good about even just living. I was doing my regular 9 to 5. I'm doing my regular 9 to 5, working for someone else, getting their projects done, doing their schedules. I'm doing all these different things. And in accounting, it can be demanding, especially in the automotive world. It can be demanding, especially for like month end. When you're doing month end, when you're doing quarter closing, end of year, don't even get started. But when I started doing my podcast, I became happier. I didn't really care. I mean, I already knew that I had to go to my 9 to 5 job. I already knew I had to be there. Like, oh, okay, I got to be here 5 days a week. Okay, cool. But now I have something else to be excited for. You know, it's not every weekend, it's not every day, but I have to work on this every day. I have to do something that goes towards this, the success of this, because this is what I would rather be doing than my 9 to 5. So I'm putting more energy into this, and I'm putting the least amount of energy into what I already know I have to do, what I already know how to do. So this is getting all of my energy. This is getting all of my thought process, and it feels good. It feels great. Like, on my first episode, my guest Shioma, me and her had spoken about my podcast like maybe like 3 months, 2 to 3 months prior to. And then for her to be my first guest, it was like a dream come true to both of us. Like, oh my gosh, girl, this is crazy because you really was talking about this and now it's here. And it felt good because I actually put my energy where I felt like it needed to go. So it's not to say like, oh, you're doing your energy wrong. This is not to tell anybody that they're doing anything wrong. This is just to say that if you feel exhausted, you feel burnt out from life, it's not to say to do more, but do what you actually want to do and stop doing more of what everybody else wants to do. If you have friends that want to go out, they want to go party, is that something you want to do, or are you doing it just because you think that you're going to be looked at weird, or you're going to be talked about, or what is it that's making you feel like you're obligated to do what everybody else is saying is the cool, is the now, it's what you should be doing. I'm comfortable. I'm happy with what I'm doing, how I'm spending my time outside of going out and partying and hanging out with friends all the time. Like, what do we have to talk about? Like, if we're not talking about something that's productive, for me personally, I don't really want to just always chit chat. It's good to check on friends. It's good to, see how they're doing. How's life going? How's everything? However, what else are you doing? Because I don't want to hear you complaining about life and how these people at this job, they've been doing it, and that girl, they ain't got nothing better to do. And you obviously don't either. I think that, we can agree that you don't have anything better to do either but to complain. So if that is, what you're doing, you're complaining about people and how they're affecting your work life and all these different things. These are things that you already know is going to happen. Most people who have been in corporate for at least 6 months, you can be in there just for 6 months, and you know that this is the norm. This is what they do. You have your people who are jealous of you, people who don't like that you dress up for work. They don't like that you're pretty. They don't like that you're young. They don't like that you could do your job well. We already know these things. And so if you already know that, that's something you can't necessarily just change. That's something that you know that you're going to deal with. So you're already mentally prepared for it. Why put your energy into complaining about it as if it is a surprise? It's not a surprise. It's not even a good surprise. So you rather probably put your energy into something that you want to do. Stop being afraid, because the fear is what keeps you in that box, that full recycling moment of, this is what happened today. Let me tell you, this girl, da da da. Mind you, now you're not even around them and you're complaining. They probably not even talking about you. They're probably not even worried about you. They have other things that they're probably focused on. And whatever it is, they're probably not happy about it either, which is probably why they make work miserable, different things like that miserable, because they are themselves. Why become them? Why become them? I feel like personally, it's better, and this is just personally, that's why I said it. It's better to create a space that you can truly feel like yourself. You can truly feel like you're stepping into something that you have decided, you have created, you've put forth, and it's your purpose. Like, I have the gift of gabbing. I mean, I'm in here by myself talking. I have the gift of gab. So if I have that, why not use it to share positive perspectives, positive impacts? Even if it's something negative, somebody can take something positive from it. And it's not to put anybody down. This is not to make anybody feel bad. These are just people sharing their perspectives, their experiences, and how it helped them, or whatever might have helped them get to the point that they are now. For me, what helped me was actually realizing that a lot of stuff in my life was not beneficial for me. It was beneficial for everyone else around me. And even throughout the hard times, keeping gratitude, being grateful for my learning experiences, being grateful for the times that I didn't have money, didn't have all these different things. And those times pushed me to go even harder. Like, okay, I really got to get it together. So doing those things, it helped me figure out it helped me figure out life a little bit better, I would definitely say. So overall, my one message is to figure out what you would actually rather put your energy towards. Figure out where you would actually like to put your mind towards, and go for it. Don't let anybody who's questioning your ability, like, oh, are you ready for that? Or can you do that? Or, are you sure you have the ability to do that? Like, maybe you need to kind of like do your research. You might need more money, or don't let those things hold you back. Because the more that I spend my money on the things that I want to do, the more money I actually feel like I have. Like, I'm actually able to spend more money. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the science is, but I know that that's how I'm feeling. and I actually have been able to spend more money. So if anything, take the gifts that you have, see which ones, is something that you actually want to lean more into, and don't let the fears of other people, because sometimes people will put you in a box in their mind and say that this person, this is the four corners that they can touch in the world. This is what they are able to do. And once you step outside that box, that makes people uncomfortable. So they're going to try. It could be family, friends, your lover, your boyfriend, your husband. It could be anybody. And once you make them uncomfortable, they have to put you back in that box. So they're going to do their best. And it could be subconscious. You don't have to be upset at them and think like, oh, you're trying to hold me back. They might not know. They might not know that they're holding you back, because in their mind, this is all you're able to do. This is the limit of your capabilities. This is the limit of what your life is supposed to look like, because my life looks like this. So don't allow that to hold you back. Don't allow other people's mindsets, and their fears to hold you back from what you actually want to do. I allowed that to happen so many times in my life, and now I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. That if they think I can't do it, I think I can. Matter of fact, I know I can. So you have to walk into it with that mindset, with that confidence. And even if you don't have the confidence, you could do it like me. Fake it till you make it. And I'm manifesting my confidence. I'm literally confident in what I want to do. I'm confident in the way that I like to look. I'm confident in the way that I think. And I'm honestly open to learn more about myself as I grow. So as long as you keep a good mindset, I would say a good mindset, good energy, as in you're very positive. You don't have to be, superbly optimistic. I'm naturally that way, but you could definitely think it. As you think it, so shall it be. And that's how I feel like everything's working out for my greater good, for everyone's greater good. If anything, even if it don't work out, something greater is down the line. So that's probably why it didn't work out. Or I might not have been ready. Maybe I need a little bit more preparation. And you have to look at things from a positive outlook to get further. Otherwise, you be the Debbie Downer that's in the corner trying to figure out why you can't get out the corner. So that is my message. I thank everyone for joining me today on my first solo episode. Okay, and it's about, of course, setting boundaries, energy management, knowing where to put it. However, I would like for you guys to like, subscribe, and comment. Please give me your feedback. I would love to hear it. And thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye. Urge